Hello, Mrs. Bradley here, and in this instructional video I'm going to be showing you how to answer the comparison 4-mark question featured on the medicine aspect of paper 1. This question is about exploring similarities and differences between two different time periods. You should spend no longer than 5 minutes on this question as it is worth only 4 marks. In this question, you will receive 1 mark for giving a feature of the period and an additional mark for specific information about the topic to be used to compare. If you repeat this process, you will achieve 4 marks. The type of question that could come up could be a similarity question, asking you what is similar between two different time periods, or a difference question, asking you what's different between two time periods. For each one, you will need to state either the similarity or the difference and give supporting details from each period as to why they are similar or different. A handy tip for when you're revising medicine, and particularly this question, is that medicine splits up into key themes across each period. Each period covers the understanding of the cause of disease in their time, diagnosis of illness, treatment of illness, and prevention of disease and illness. With this in mind, you can tailor your revision to compare the 4 periods for the similarities and differences, making it easier for you in the exam. The example below is understanding the cause of disease. I have put a subheading and each of the 4 periods. Next to those, I've made a brief explanation of what each of their understanding of the cause of disease is. Therefore, I am able to easily compare each of them and remember them better in my exam. Here is an example of a similarity comparison question you could find. Explain one way in which the ideas about the cause of disease were similar in the 14th and 17th century. It wants to know one way they were similar, and it wants you to give specific examples. As you can see, we've got our revision tactic below, and if we've used it well, we will know a similarity between the cause of disease in the medieval period and Renaissance. The answer is structured by giving the similarity, they believe that bad air caused disease. It gives details from the 14th century, they believe God had poisoned the air. In the 17th century's example, it says they believed in miasma still and used the example of the plague to explain how they still use strong-smelling herbs from their doorways to ward off bad smell. This is an example of a comparison question that considers differences between two time periods. In this instance, it needs you to find a way that they are different and give specific examples. In this question, it wants you to explain one way in which understanding of the cause of illness was different in the late 19th and late 20th century. Again, if you have created your own revision guide where you have got the industrial period and the modern period compared for the understanding of the cause of disease, you will be able to answer this question well. Unlike the similarity question, you do not need to start with an overarching sentence. You can simply start by writing the understanding of one period and then continue with a however and explain the difference in the next period. In this answer, we can see that in the late 19th century, germ theory was the major breakthrough, and it helped people to understand that microscopic organisms were responsible for diseases. They've used the connective however, and have explained that in the 20th century, they began to understand genetics played a part in illness. This question is one you can practice and plan yourself. Above you can see it explains one way in which methods used by doctors to diagnose illness in the medieval period were different from the methods used in the modern period. This one is a difference question, and it's actually looking at diagnosis of illness. Below, I've created a table that you could create yourselves at home, comparing what the different methods of diagnosis were in each period. Here is a reference to the revision guide and the pages that will help you to plan this question. Now that you've finished planning or writing the question, you can have a look at the mark scheme provided by the exam board for this question. As you know, if you give a feature and explain the difference, and give another feature and explain the difference, you can achieve 4 marks. Here are examples of relevant points that you could have included and the comparison between two periods. Why don't you have a look at these examples and see how your answer compares?